We caught the 6 a.m. flight from Phuket to Siem Reap, taking a taxi to the airport and hopping on the plane just in time to see the beautiful sunrise across the Andaman Sea. We filled out our visa forms on the plane, which we then bought at the airport for $30. Hopping off the plane and onto our first ever tuk-tuk taxi. We didn't take any tuk-tuks in Thailand as there were easier ways of getting around, but this is definitely the best way to travel in Cambodia. Since it was only 8 a.m, we couldn't check into our hotel just yet, so we headed to a cafe called New Leaf for our breakfast. This vegan fry-up was delicious, and it was awesome to see that the business donates 30% of its profits to local education projects and 20% to its Khmer employees. Cambodian philanthropy, as it turned out, would be a constant throughout our trip. When we got back to the hotel, our room was ready, and they were fumigating for mosquitoes. And then we fell asleep. A few hours later, we returned to the land of the living, ready to explore Siem Reap. Having read about Cambodia's fondness for craft beers and a month of drinking only Chang Lager in Thailand, we thought a meal at veggie-friendly Moringa and a pint of Kingdom's Indochine IPA would do us nicely. As you can see, Craig was pretty impressed. We then made our way to Siem Reap Brew Pub, the local microbrewery. We tried a couple of their beers, but at $3 a pop we couldn't help but thinking this would be a one-time treat. Next we tootled along to the city's famous pub street, with draft lager only 50 cents a half. That was probably more like it. Then we had an early night ahead of our temple adventure the following day. Our awesome tuk-tuk driver Lee picked us up bright and early to start 3 epic days of exploring ancient temples. I'm going to whiz through these pretty quick, so hold on to your hats. First up is Siem Reap, a Hindu temple built in the 10th century. The temple mountain is a combination of brick, laterite and sandstone. This is one of the oldest and most epic temples in Siem Reap, that's for sure. Next up we went to Batnasaray, another 10th century temple, this time dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva. The stunning sandstone brick and intricate temples makes this one a standout place to visit. After a quick bite of lunch at a nearby restaurant, we were ready to see some more. Pretty sure the next temple is East Maybon, another Hindu temple built in the 10th century, originally surrounded by a moat which is now dried up. The next one is difficult to forget. The epic shining lake surrounding the temple is probably a breeding ground for mosquitoes, but we enjoyed Nik Pien nonetheless. Thank God for Deet. We fueled up with some fresh mango and from the sweet ladies who ate near the temple, and we were ready to go again. Zipping forward in time to the 12th century, we visited Prayer Khan, built by order of popular king Jayavarman in order to honour his father. Prayer Khan is so old, there are even trees growing from the foundations. Last up we had a teaser of Bayong Temple, where we'd be back on the 3rd day. Inside the grounds of Angkor Wat, this epic Buddhist temple is huge compared to the others and even home to some monkeys. It's safe to say we were exhausted that night, so we popped along to a tiny vegan restaurant down the street from our hotel. Mahobwas serves traditional Khmer cuisine with another philanthropic cause. We popped up Pub Street for another couple of beers and a cheeky sing-along ahead of day 2 of our tour with Lee. Day 2 of our tour was a short one. We visited Bakong, the first temple mountain of sandstone built by the Khmer Empire at Angkor in the 9th century. We also explored Prayer Ko, another epic 9th century site dedicated to Shiva. Heading back to the hotel for lunch, we took dinner some basic veggie noodles that I forgot to fill because I was absolutely starving. The next and final day of our temple tour started early, 4:30 to be exact. Lee picked us up at 5 a.m. to take us to see the famous sunrise at Angkor Wat. This was definitely worth it and something we'd highly recommend to anyone visiting Siem Reap and keen to experience the ancient history here. It was so busy considering it's low season here in Southeast Asia right now. I can't believe this many people got up at 5 a.m. to see this site. The next few temples were Ta Prohm, Ta Ne, Ta Keo. I won't harp on about these too much. You may recognise the crazy tree at Ta Prohm from the Lara Croft film with Angelina Jolie. Last but not least, we went back to Bakong, explored this insane site at the heart of Angkor Wat. By far one of our favourites, this Buddhist temple was amazing, if not slightly soured by the vast number of tourists who flocked here in midday sun. If you get a chance to visit Bakong, we definitely recommend an early morning or a later visit to avoid the crowds. And that's it from us. We'll be spending our last day here in Siem Reap sleeping, eating and drinking cheap beer. So please like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of our videos as we travel Southeast Asia. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!